Last time on Power Rangers Time Force.
I guess the CEO of our website's a chud. Don't pull an act, man. This is how you get yourself an act, man. Welcome to your act, man.
It's not your fault, baby boy. It's not your fault. You came on to a sinking ship. It's not your fault. It's Emmett Shear's fault.
I guess the website owner is a chud. I guess the CEO of the business is a chud. I guess he hates breasts. I guess because he hates breasts, he's gay. And all that other dumb shit you guys said on Twitter. You begin to realize that far into it that we run a cam whore website. Boy, I couldn't imagine having that happen. Man, that's crazy.
Thank you, streamers like this and IRL streamers like this. And if you're not mad about it, you can go to my stream. I'm live right now, so you can tell me how much of a big fat bitch you are, because you don't like it, I'm right.
Hi. Welcome back. Welcome back to the chud-filled days of watching the internet begin to realize that Twitch has some big-ass problems, and the website CEO, multiple members of staff, and pretty much the general zeitgeist beginning to understand how fucked up it is that the meta happens and that shit gets changed because some people push the system. We have new updates for you all, everyone. Let's read them together. An update to our attire policy. We are updating the entire policy of community guidelines to prohibit implied nudity while streaming on Twitch. This update is in response to the recent meta, which streamers were using black censor bars and other items that block their bodies or clothing, or position the camera frame in such a way that the viewer is led to believe the streamer is fully or partially nude. While most streamers have labeled this content appropriately within the sexual themes label and are wearing clothing behind the object or outside the camera frame, for many users, the thumbnail of this content can be disruptive to their experience on Twitch. And by that, I can show you exactly what they mean. Ladies and gentlemen, I want to introduce you to one of the many Twitch thoughts that were responsible for trying to proliferate the meta. Covered on side scrollers, give it up for your homegirl, Tiffy. Tiffy! Right here, as you can see, is one of the many people who were proliferating this idea of using it. It was egregious. Because you see, they would go and they would stream. They have no VODs, no anything. All they ever do is they go live, they bait the meta, and then they drop the social links, and that goes straight to their OnlyFans in the chat. People like Tiffy are the reason why this change was made. If you didn't believe me, don't worry. We're gonna have a nice little demonstration, and I'm gonna explain my points and the reasons why behind them. But let's continue reading, shall we? While content labeled with sexual things isn't displayed on the homepage, the content is displayed within the category browse directories, and we understand that many users frequent the pages to find content on Twitch, and that the update will go into effect today. So that means, boys and girls, that when we go to front page of Twitch, which technically I could do right fucking now, when we go to the front page of Twitch, and we think to ourselves, I wonder what I'd like to see inside the chatting section. I guess I'll go there and, oh man, oh my god, that's so crazy! Wish I could mute it. Can't mute it. But when we go to the category, wow, you actually need to give me a button to mute that. What the fuck? Thank you. When we go to the category, and we look at these things, no longer will we see examples of, oh my god, guys, look at that booty hole, it's just open, it's just wild, it's just there. Because right now, this is funneled on recommended for you. Let's change it to the higher low. Oh man, you're not seeing it anymore. Oh, that's so great. It's such a great idea. Because that was the entire reason why we used that as an example. Granted, I'm logged in right now, but there are plenty of examples that I can show you of this thing happening while they're not logged in. The entire idea behind it was that every single time this would happen, metas get abused, metas get used, and shit goes down, and shit gets like crazy, we would go and just show you, hey yo, this is what's happening on our experience. This is the viewer experience. Now I'm pretty sure you're gonna have to go all the way down, or at the very minimum you have to type in hot tubs, pools and beaches, and there they are. But look how separated they are from the categories. Certainly, for the higher and low standard, you can see here 3K, 2K, No longer do you have the people abusing the shit, and the shit falls off real fucking quick, don't it? That's all we ever wanted. That's all we ever wanted, was it to not be that easy. But it's going to happen again, and I'll explain to you why, but let's finish reading. For those areas of the body which coverage is required, the coverage must be fully opaque. No sheer or partially see-through clothing. It does not constitute coverage. Note also that the streamers must appropriately categorize the content. If you want to have the attire of being in a pool or a hot tub or beaches, you must classify it correctly. We'll simply reclassify the stream. But if they keep failing to do it, if they decide they go to just chatting and oops, I forgot I'm in a bikini and I'm outside at a Dakota Beach, we're gonna get that ass banned. We're gonna get that ass banned. We're gonna get that ass banned. Don't you worry, girl. We're gonna get that ass banned. Our goal with this and other recent changes is to make Twitch a safe and welcome place to all the communities to call home, improve the clarity of the policy, ensure that people have the experience that they expect while spending time on Twitch. We're currently working on the ability to blur thumbnails for content using the sexual themes label, plus user settings that allow them to filter the Twitch experience based upon their preferences for content labeled with the content classification labels for CCL. The updated policy now reading in bold. We do not permit streamers to be fully or partially nude, including exposing genitals or buttocks. Nor do we permit streamers to imply or suggest that they are fully or partially nude, including but not limited to covering best with genitals with objects or sensor bars. For those who present as women, remember, ladies and gentlemen, if you forgot, I will remind you, because it's right here on top of the display. I'll remind you. Say thank you, Marina. Say thank you, Marina. Thank you, Marina. Shit. Thank you, Marina, for being an attention whore. Thank you, Marina, for being such an attention-seeking asshole on the platform. We have no one but you to thank for it. But for those of you who are female presenting, whether you be a live model or a VR chatter, we ask you that you remember to cover yourself and do not expose nipple or underbust. Cleavage is unrestricted as long as the coverage requirements are met and it's clear that the streamer is wearing clothing. I'm going to show you a clip from which this comes from, because lo and behold, these particular three people I have here on the subframe are an example of exactly the thing I'm talking about. Because you see, this is great, but it's not going to stop the meta. Because you need to remember, people, what a meta is. It's not a word, technically. It's an acronym. Most effective tactic available. What is the most effective tactic available for Twitch talk? Get attention. Get attention. Seek virality. Get coverage. Rake in the money of the positive and negative attention. Possibly eat a 3-day ban. Get unbanned after a day. Lose no money, because when you get banned, you do not auto-renew subs. We're going to talk about it. You don't auto-renew subs. But if you get banned and you effectively lose no subs, you get banned, you get wide, massive spread coverage about yourself, and then you get unbanned after a day, and you come back to even more money because you got exposure, you got attention, and people are flushing you in the situation, and you can clout shock off of it to success. But only the people who get coverage. Guys can't do this because men can't do this shit. And lo and behold, even when it comes to the case of Mr. Tectone, I hate anime, but I follow 900 hentai channels himself, saying, "Come on, boys, let's play with our Joy-Cons!" Guys don't get involved in these metas because they want to clout shark off it themselves. They're doing it in protest because it's fucking ridiculous. Because let a man have his nuts out and he catches a ban. So I'm going to illustrate to you. I'm going to illustrate to you what the problem is. I'm going to use a case example using these three particular people. Okay? There are three kinds of creators when it comes to the OnlyFans thought. I will label them for you as best as I can. Here, where you have people like Morquai, you have the meta creators. I can't spell. You have the meta creators. And the point of a meta creator is to do one thing and one thing alone. create attention for yourself, bring eyes to your stream, and then ride the controversy. Because you already did the hard part. You got people to pay attention to you. The next ones, representing people like Tiffy, these are the bandwagoners. These are the people who are only doing the meta because they see, well, if Morkpie can do it, look at me, girlies. I got the gams to give. I know I can get away with it. What's the problem? What's the matter? Who's to say that I can't, bro? And then, of course, lastly, representing the style of content creator of Marina, we have the clout chasers. Or preferably in this, I'd like to say, the clout goblins. In search of a different word to describe them, to be quite serious and quite honest. These individuals represent all three types of the people who are responsible for creating this issue and problem in the first place. Now, if you want to deal with this, you have to realize what the actual goal here is. Okay? It's a very simple concept. If you really, really, really think about it. Right? I'll break it down as best as I can. Meta creators, bandwagoners, and clout goblins seek to do one thing. They have one goal, and that one goal dictates everything they do on Twitch. Okay? What they seek to do is one thing, and that's have attention. To do one thing. Sell OnlyFans and porn to losers. Which, I'll do losers as into users. That's it. Okay? That's all they want to do. They want to sell OnlyFans to losers. They want to isolate out those guys and those girls, and most especially those kids, and they use Twitch to sell the OnlyFans and to sell porn to users. And you could also probably say this as sell porn to users, as sell OnlyFans, and rake in donos and subs. Okay? That's what it is. And every time we have these metas, every single time we have these metas, what we end up doing is this. You get a meta. Lord have mercy. You get a meta. And every time we make that meta gets created, and people go to do their thing. Now let's use a good example. In these metas, let's say this is a hot tub meta. That may be smaller. Let's say here we have the hot tub meta. And then here we have the sensor meta. And then here we have an unknown meta. And of course, who can forget, because of people who like meta creators such as that as Alinity, such as that as Caitlyn, Amaranth, Scamaranth, the I think it was the bait meta. It was either the content bait meta or it was the cam thought meta. Okay? Technically, you go a little bit more like this. And the thing you guys have to understand when it comes to these metas and dealing with these problems and dealing with these people is that the way to deal with the issue cannot be done the way you would normally think the issue could get done. Because it won't be handled that way. It won't work. Right? What do I mean by that? I'll show you what I mean by that as soon as I can find the proper shape. You have these metas, Lord have mercy, I don't understand why it does that. When you have these metas, and you, I should have done it in Paint. When you have these metas, and you want to demonstrate the issue, the problem, the point, each of these metas has a problem. And it's that each of these metas can be abused for a limited amount of time. And why is that? Because attention, time, virality, but also interest and boredom. Because what happens when you do metas, what happens when you do content in X, I'm kind of thinking of something. I use a dot. When you do metas, let's say you try to get rid of the cam thought meta from yesteryear. What happens is that if you do this, and you blow out the meta, the only thing that happens in response to this is all of the people abusing it do this. You see the problem? And they go right over here. And then if you do this again, and you stop this meta, they see that? And they go right over here. Trying to get rid of this does not stop the metas from happening. Okay? So the thing that you have to do when you deal with this problem, because I'm going to use the Paint method because this is not working the way I thought it was, but this is helpful. What you need to do when you want to stop these metas from happening, and you want to be able to solve them, is you have to remember what it is that you're trying to do. Okay? The problem with the meta, the problem with metas, the problem with attention seeking and grabbing is you're giving them what they want the way that you're doing it currently. What do I mean by that? Carl will explain what he means by that. See, if you want to control the meta, if you want to stop the meta from being a problem, you don't do what you've been doing. What you want to do, if what you want to do is prevent the problem, if what you want to do is solve issues, what you want to do is make an example, you don't do this. You do this. I wipe it out. You do this over all of them. And what do I mean by that? This isn't stopping them from doing another meta. If you patch the meta, which, by the way, patching the meta is good, we're making better decisions. Instead of just letting shit happen and doing nothing, a la Emmett Shear, the new CEO is saying, let's do some shit. Let's see what happens. But when you try to stop a meta by patching the rules, it is the job of these girls and guys, because guys can do it too, but we don't see guys doing it because we know they'll be castigated on the spot. It is the job of these girls to try to find a new way to get attention. Because when you're a content creator, which is to say when you're a public-facing figure of any kind, when you are basically a brand, your job is to get attention onto you and keep it there. If they go viral because they chose to use a meta, in this case, the censor meta, wiping out each of these by changing the TOS is not going to stop them from going to the next fucking monkey branch. So you might say to yourself, well, Carl, if we can't ban them out and we can't stop them, what do we do? The way you've been banning them isn't correct. Because if you want to take the Asmongold position and say, here's what you do. You gotta do this and this and this. The first thing you have to understand is that almost all those people making mistakes, they don't give a shit. It doesn't personally affect them. And even if they did, They don't care that it affects them. They're on the position of shaming you for having the audacity to ask questions. I know this for a fact. It is in Asmongold's video, around about the VOD in the video that was posted at the time in which I saw it, which now would have been a day and 2 hours ago. In the middle of it, it's bringing up in the middle of the chat like, oh, you don't have self-control? You can't stop to watch it? You have to go look? I came here for video games? Why are you watching? It's not a matter of why people are watching. I don't watch this shit. But you know what I do see? I see policy changes being made around this shit. So me being a simple person, being a male, I think solutions. I can give you a perfect case solution of what you do. Here's what you do. Find each level of these people, and this is what you do. The meta creators, the people who are responsible for making the metas happen, find the lead streamer who is responsible for popularizing and going viral with the meta, ban them. Permanently. Ban them permanently. Why do you give them a permanent ban? Why would you do that, Carl? That seems a little unfair. No, it's not. And I'll explain why. Because we're going to write it out in the notepad. Why do we do that? Why would I suggest that to be a thing that we do? I'll tell you why. The reason why you want to do that is for a simple fact of the matter consequence. Call and response. And it goes like this. Okay? If the content creators are actively trying to skirt the policy, I can't spell actively. Dyslexia. Are actively skirting content policies, it is the job of the website to start issuing out the bans that match the severity and the egregiousness of their faults. Now, if a meta creator tries to skirt the rules, because you can't see it right now, because it's not filtered correctly. If a meta content creator tries to skirt the rules to try to get attention for themselves, to make money, what you do is you ban them permanently. And do not let them return. Do not revoke it for 6 months. Now, you might think that's extreme, but I'm going to tell you a secret. That's currently the already established Twitch policy. What does this do? If you take the meta creator and you ban that meta creator for a period of a permanent ban, you take them off the website. You immediately cut all money. The amount of money that they're going to get for being at the top of this shit, you take them off the platform. You will immediately take the funneling of it. They're going to try to move to all the bandwagoners. As expected. Trust me, we're going to get there. They're going to try to move to the bandwagoners. What you do from there is the bandwagoners start looking at their accounts. Start looking at all the people who are trying to ride that content policy grift. And when you find them, start archiving how much they've been doing it. And you ban them too. But don't ban them permanently. Ban them for 30 days. And allow them to appeal after 14. Ban them for a fortnight. Ban them for a fortnight. And here's what you do afterwards. Check up on them without telling them. To see if they follow policy. If not, ban them again for another 30. with another appeal for 14 days. Why would you suggest this? Because you see, if it were me, if I see Mortify and all the other girls that she was streaming with use this meta to try to get ahead of the curve and make money for themselves, they're specifically doing it because they know they're not going to get issued big enough of punishment. They're not going to get big enough of a hit. Because they're not going to feel like they're going to be affected. They're going to do the whataboutism. What about what I'm doing is so bad and illegal and wrong? I'm obviously wearing clothes. It's not that big a deal. It's kind of like if you knew that I was shirtless here and the notepad was the only thing blocking it. It wouldn't be acceptable. So, you target them as the ones responsible for making the meta. Because you're setting an example. Make it clear that you see who's responsible for starting it, and you are making sure it is immediately cut away from them. Do not continue rewarding them for breaking the rules of the platform. Immediately punish them, and put every other bandwagoner that's behind them on notice. Then, when the bandwagoners try to skirt in to get that clout, because technically, if this person's banned permanently from the platform, and they're doing shows and cases and whatnot, they're obviously going to move to the bandwagoners who will take up that space afterwards, because power abhors a vacuum. They're going to swoop in, try to suck up all those donos and subs. They're going to try to get them to click on the OnlyFans links as they end on the streams, try to get them to go to Throne, try to get them to go to their fucking platforms, and when they try to do all those monetizing of those pipelines that lead to OnlyFans, you ban them for 30 days. Because the entire problem is going to be monetary income, you see. You ban them for 30 days, but you allow them to appeal for 14. You allow them to come back to the platform, but you keep track of what they're doing. If you see a link in their chat room, if you go through their chat bots and you ask them, well, give me a collated list of the functions that this leads to. I want to see what you do with this. I want to see where this goes. You take a look at their chat for a few days, out of a week, 7 days of a week should be enough. You see how they begin their stream, how they go about their stream, how they end their stream. You check those links and you check where they go. If they do anything at all similar to what I showed you before, with Tiffy, where she's dropping links to her shit after the stream, deleting the VODs to try and get away with it, you ban them again. And the reason why you ban them again is you are draining the money. And you cut off the revenue. Because you see, if any of you are a fan of a long-haired an ex-Blizzard employee by the name of Pirate Software, you've heard him probably talk about how the system updates for what you do when you are receiving money as a streamer. Because auto-renews do not auto-renew when you're banned. I believe the number was somewhere about 30% of your money should you lose a significant portion of your audience during a 30-day ban. You ban them for effectively what is a period of 14 days, and in that fortnight, they're going to lose a significant number of that money. So if they get banned again at the end of that 14 days, they've now been banned for 28 days. They've basically missed out on months of payments, but they've also not auto-renewed the shit either. They can't go live the entire time. And since Twitch is the place that they're clearly going to because they're monetizing it to get access to that audience, you identify the things that it is that they're going for, which is the attention, the money, and the ease of access to audiences. So then, they go from there, and they're like, well, fuck. The only people left are the Clout Goblins, who themselves are technically bandwagoners. But you see, I chose people like Marina to represent that category for a particular reason. Because they're the ones who were upfront and personal. The loudest and the wrongest of all. The Clout Goblins, you do this for something very interesting and very simple, which already happened to Marina and her wife. The Clout Goblins. What you do to them? Ban them for 14 days. Then, notify all of their current sponsors that they have listed. And the reason why you contact the people they have listed is for the reasons that already happened with Marina. If you weren't aware, Marina attempted to do the meta. Somebody contacted Glitch Energy, one of her sponsors, and they dropped her immediately with immediate effect. They did the same thing to their wife. They dropped her with immediate effect. And the reason I say this isn't because it should be the job of other people to go and do this. It should be something that's done by Twitch by policy. And the reason why is because reasons that already exist that were inside the article. Twitch does not like when they cannot trust that advertisers are getting what they want, because advertisers block out to the categories that they stream and the categories that they sponsor ads to. Do you want titties right next to an ad for Reese's Oreo cups? Do you want them right next to an ad for things to do with life insurance? Probably not. You're more than likely going to want to put ads that are appropriate for the categories where they belong. Lord forbid I know what kind of ads they get, but this is how you like to go after it. This is what you would want to do that. So, when you contact all the current sponsors, all Twitch is going to say to them is, are you aware that this streamer has been banned on the platform, or in this case, suspended, like temporarily, because of this policy violation that they may or may not have revealed to you? Are you aware that this is what they are doing? Are you a supporter of what they are doing? That's all they do. They let the companies know. They let them know, and then the companies make the decision. Oh, of course we know that's what Marina's doing. We're completely fine with that. That's one of the reasons we took them for a sponsor. Okay, no problem. Oh, we understand. We just wanted to bring it to your attention, unless you were to wear it. What? What's that? She's doing what? Where? We hired her on a Christian basis. They told us she was a family streamer. And just like that, you will remove the clout goblin effect. Because the reason behind this, you remove the income, and you have lasting consequences after the bans. And the reason why I suggest this as what you would do to deal with all these problems, the way that it would solve all this is it would immediately remove this. Because the entire reason why they do this is multi-part. The reason why people abuse the platform in this way to get money, to bring attention to themselves, and do whatever the fuck it is they want to do, is threefold. They want attention, they want publicity, and they want plausible deniability. Otherwise known as just scapegoating. Or whataboutism. These three things are the reason why metas happen. The cam thought meta was a meta of women who never cared about broadcasting, never cared about streaming, until they saw a financial incentive coming into the space, being disingenuous and being dishonest, in creating the hope loop spiral of men getting addicted to them for the purposes of maintaining these very, 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 very exploitative relationships through their audiences and the parasocial aspect that they created. When the hot tub meta came through, it was a meta for women to effectively get money from kids, because we know it was the kids, horny adults, who have too little shame to go on to Google and Google big boob and get 2 billion results for free, deciding, hey yo, I'm watching the finals and I'm watching my titty at the same time, God bless Twitch, and using that as a justification for it. Because I don't hate sex, I love sex. Don't hate women, I love women. But if Twitch continues down the road they're going, where all they ever do is get put into the news for something stupid happening, because there are people who are trying to abuse the meta for no other reason than to bring attention to themselves. They bring attention onto the website. And then you're going to have people going in and starting to make policy changes about how websites like this will operate. And then it all gets fucked over. Everybody on the site gets fucked over. Not just your Pokemans, not just your Agrarians, not just your Ludwigs and your XQCs, although XQC is on Kick, so he wouldn't be directly affected, but I'm using him as an example. Not just your Hassans, not just your Asmongols, everybody would get fucked. Because boomers have no idea what the fuck's going on here, and also who doesn't know what's going on here, widespread on the platforms? The companies that they're usually taking content from. We're only so lucky that the thieving meta, the content theft meta, didn't go so well for the people in question who were the most guilty parties. Because all it takes is one company who realizes how much illegal content has been restreamed on the platform to shut that motherfucker down. They will tie them up in legal fees for so long. Warner Brothers Discovery will be one place that will be so happy to take that cash. And it's chump change in the case of Amazon, which is the reason why it always goes underneath the radar. It's a containment website, and that containment factor is only held back by these three factors. Because the website is not very well known, even though it's supposed to be, quote, the leading platform in streamer behavior and in streamer culture, people don't really know what Twitch is, because it's something that gamers do, which is to say, millennials and zoomers. Boomers don't give a fuck about that website. But if you tell them about it on headline news on daytime television in the middle of Good Morning America, I can promise you they know what the fuck it is. Because the most they know about Twitch is Ninja doing this bullshit, saying, I'm not seeing enough movement! I'm not seeing enough movement! Let them find out what little Tim spending his money on in the thousands for. Then, of course, it's publicity. When these things go viral, they go viral within this sphere of influence, and so it doesn't break out to the widestream public. It doesn't break out to the normies. But this shit's starting to break normie containment. Because this shit was so egregious, nobody could believe it was that happening. And of course, everyone's favorite example, the plausible deniability to escape on whataboutism. Which, of course, was demonstrated best by people like Asmongold saying, it doesn't really matter, but also get them off the website, get the kids off the site. Because if it doesn't really matter, why the fuck do you care? Why mention anything out about it? Why not? Like, why talk about it? It doesn't personally affect you, but it definitely affects everybody else. It definitely affects everybody else. It affects everybody else in the sense that this brings down the culture of the site. But then it becomes a case of, well, the culture of the site was always like this. The site always had kids doing dumb shit, and therefore you should let them keep doing it? What a great argument. How wonderful. Well, it doesn't really affect anyone else. You guys get jealous and you don't care. Really? Well, I guess you better go tell those people on daytime news that, hey, yo, you can go onto the internet and you can just sell your body to of hundreds of thousands of millions and get free cash for it. Everybody should do it. And then we should debase ourselves further and further, because who cares if society has morals, practices, standards, and values? It doesn't matter! Morals don't matter! But even if you don't have morals, standards, practices, and values, do have to be followed. Because if you have people just using this as a cam whore website, it's only going to go to one place, and it's going to devour you. Why have rules if they can't be followed? Everyone's going to do this everything to try and make as much money as possible, cut as many corners as possible, break as many rules as possible, and then keep baiting and baiting a new meta. You won't be able to see anything but people like this, and that's not what we want. It's simple as that. That's all you gotta do. That's all you gotta do. It's all you gotta do. You ban the meta creators permanently. They end up having to go to a website where they can put that content. Because they can't go to YouTube, because YouTube's not going to let that shit happen. YouTube is a lot more mainstream than Twitch. Not necessarily going to go to Kick, because the majority of them would have to rebuild a platform in an entirely different platform. Because remember, audiences, if they're not already accessing that content from the platform which they're going to, they're not likely to move to another platform unless you've already built that audience there and found that ground point. And Twitch just allowed multi-streaming to be possible. So they haven't built up those audiences anywhere else. They live in the Discord, they live in their OnlyFans links, they live in their Twitch, maybe if they have a YouTube, they live in the YouTube backend substreams, and that's it. They can't put that content anywhere else. And even if they tried to, they wouldn't be able to monetize them. They wouldn't be able to monetize it yet. So it's an easy gravy train. Ban the meta creators and then you ban the bandwagoners,
And you make sure you keep draining their pockets by every time they have an infraction, nickel and dime them. Or nipple and dime if you want to be correct. You nipple and dime them. Nipple and dime them. Every infraction, that's a ban. You put in porn links in the chat, that's a ban. You're trying to get people to click on the links in the middle of the stream and trying to they can shout out your OnlyFans by being lurid, that's a ban. It looks like you're not following the content policy on clothing, that's the ban. Oh, you've been constantly restringing the category without properly categorizing it, so you can try to get more fucking impressions, and please you shouldn't be, that's a ban. They can keep catching the bans over and over and over and over again. They're going to get frustrated, and they're going to have to make one or two decisions. They're going to either self-censor, because I'm not saying that you should be very censorious, but I am saying that you should be very much enforcing the policy at this point. Make them self-censor by making it clear that, hey, I can't go live to even collect the money on the people that I have. And even when I'm banned, I'm not receiving that cash because they ain't paying me out, because they're withholding it. Because if I get too many bans, they're going to permanently ban me. And then they're going to take that money and reduce and only release the less of what everything else I get. And then I have that content resource shut off to me forever. I won't be able to go to another platform to do that shit, even if I wanted to. So let me clean my fucking act up. Let me get right. Let me fucking innovate myself. Let me find a new way to bring people to my chat. They'll have to become creative. They'll actually have to become expressive. They'll actually have to become content creators. Or they're going to decide it's too hard. It's not worth the fucking pain, and they'll quit. They'll stop. They'll stop streaming entirely. And just like that, you eliminate a fucking cottage industry of whoam overnight. Because they're either going to give up on Twitch and they're going to take it somewhere else, or they're going to clean it the fuck up and they're going to behave in those places elsewhere. But either way, whichever choice they take, you still get the same result. They stop bringing the attention to the website, and the website's able to properly put them in the fucking null box where that content should be, so that it doesn't keep bringing them the attention that it brings them. Because they're upset that it keeps bringing them attention. And then the plot goblins, you ban them, and you inform their sponsors, so that when they brag about, oh yeah, this is completely fine, ain't nobody got no problem with this, you wrong! You clap them out, you ban them? No, actually, you were wrong. And we made sure to content your sponsors. If you lost sponsors from this, that's on you, baby boy. That's on you, baby girl. Better clean that nose and come back. They can come back right. They're going to lose the bravado. They're going to lose the snide. They're going to lose the ire that Marina had when she decided to behave the way she behaved. The fucking crocodile tear apologies won't matter. Because they're not going to get an expected unban after a day. Nah. Sit that ban out. Set it out. Set out that 14-day ban and only get unbanned after a week. Get that ass clapped out. But then that entire time that they're banned, they're getting just fucking lit up by the sponsors. If they weren't aware of what they're doing, and they get dropped because of it, because they find out, and it's not because somebody spitefully went after them and got them canceled on Twitter. No. Twitch contacted them and asked them, do you know what they're doing? Not, we're going to ban this person because of this. Do you stand behind this? But, hey, are you aware that this is what they were doing? That's crazy if you didn't, but if you didn't, they tell them, they make the business decision to drop you. Because that was a risk you took when you chose to take that sponsor, then act a certain way. If they stand 10 toes on principle and 10 toes on business, you got a real sponsor. And then you can be able to say, well, see, actually, I fucked up, but my sponsors stand behind me, and I'm so grateful that they worked with me, blah, 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 blah. Give that corporate spiel. Because that's technically what we gotta do anyways if we have those kinds of sponsors. That, man, it'd be really great if you didn't bring me controversy, because then you have to keep your fucking nose clean. It puts you in line. It puts a collar on you. It puts a collar on those people. So that if they want to act crazy and they want to act wild, they have to go with the risks that come with acting wild. There's no cushion. There's no safety net for them where they can talk a lot of shit and get money and then be able to fall back on the cushion when that shit blows up in their face. It blows up in the face, no safety net. Take that drop, take that fall. Get that ass banged, get fucked over. Deal with the thing that you have to do the entire time. And when you do with that, when you do away with this, you'll do away with this. Because it won't be worth it for them. For the meta creators, they won't be able to monetize the attention that will get. Sure, they'll talk about how they were banned and how blah, 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 they're doing this against women and blah, 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 blah. They hate women and they don't want them to be able to do choices. What you do as a company, what the CEO should have done in his first announcement and should do from there is, if you want to come to the platform,
You want to come to Twitch and you want to stream, and you want to be able to be a woman and have your body and wear provocative clothing, by all means. We love when women are women. But we have rules to follow. And if you cannot follow our website's rules, we will act on those punishments. We will issue out the punishments for the people who are very clearly destroying, and need to use the word correctly, the culture we are trying to cultivate on our website. You start setting a tradition. You start setting a culture. And that culture is, we do not sell porn to kids. By all means, you want to be a porn star. If you unironically want to be like Mordecai and be an amateur porn star, trying to get people to come and buy your OnlyFans, you're not going to mention it on Twitch. They're going to find out what you do in the after. You know, like, hey guys, this concludes the Twitch section. I'm going to be going over to my other website here at this link, and here's what we're going to be doing. Hey guys, I'm going to go over to this stream here, over on this, like over at my other activity that I have planned today. If you want to know about it, you can learn about it in the Discord. Talk to the moderators about getting there. It's a special only sub club. You have to be sub to get it. By all means, at that point, it's out of Twitch's hands. Did you know that this person is doing multi-party gangbangs off platform? I didn't, because it's not happening on our platform. That's good for them. Ain't got shit to do with us. Yeah, we know they're a porn star, but the porn is not happening on our platform. That's what you do. That's how you handle the problem. You do that, you ain't gotta hear about these goddamn problems no more. That's all we ever had to do. Quite literally, that's all we ever had to fucking do, but we couldn't do it because we didn't want to do the shit, because we didn't want to do it for attention. That's all we got to do. I promise you, it will work through. If you follow that simple 3-step plan, if you follow this 3-step plan, I can promise you, you will deal with the problem. It's all you gotta do. If they don't want to follow the rules and they keep trying to push to make a new meta, solve the problem at the fucking root. Don't solve the symptoms, solve the problem. And every other person who wants to gammer at the gums, their opinions don't matter. Only opinion of the fucking enforcement team and the opinion of the CEO that has a fiduciary duty to the website does. I'm gonna see y'all in the next issue. Goodbye, chat. Goodbye, chat. I'm gonna see you online. And don't you worry, by the time you're seeing this, I will probably be live. So you could be able to get your shits in, baby boy. You can be able to get your shits in. Because I know for a fact there are going to be some people who are going to be upset because they don't like that I'm right. Bye, everyone.